Okay, so Gorillaz, Feel Good Inc. If you didn't know, I'm going through each of the Gorillaz music videos and reviewing them, basically. But Gorillaz Feel Good Inc. So it's kind of interesting to think about the Gorillaz between the first album and this album, because even though people, first off, the internet wasn't like it was now, and most people I knew thought the Gorillaz was this interesting side project from Damon Albarn, and didn't know if it was going to become, like, we had no clue it was going to become like a regular band. There had been like talk of a DreamWorks movie or whatever that fell apart, but for the most part, like, we really didn't know what was going to happen with them. And then suddenly this song came out, and I remember when I got the CD, because I was working at a college radio station, and I mainly just listened to this specific song. Like, I didn't really listen to this album, Demon Days, very much. I just kept listening to the song because the song is very addictive. It's very catchy. It's very weird. I don't fully know what it's about, and I loved it. I have distinct memories of dropping someone off at the airport, and there's like an air train, and that air train took forever to get to the subway, but I kept listening to the song. The song is supposedly about the idea of the corporatization of the music industry and how it's Feel Good Inc. And the idea of the windmill is kind of a reference to a William Blake poem about the kind of industrialized revolution in England and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of ideas that are put into this song. I don't know if any of that makes any sense, particularly like a band that was mainly, it's like a kind of a, it's a statement or an idea on the corporatization of music, the whole idea of Gorillaz. I'm not sure if like that idea like fully works when you get into it, because you're still like, it was like a rock star and a well-established comic artist decide to make a band, which is like a creative endeavor to make them lots of money, and for their big platinum selling follow-up, they want to talk about how evil capitalism is a bit much for me. But I do still really like this song. I like the windmill imagery, which was very influenced by Castle in the Sky by Hayao Miyazaki, particularly with Noodle playing the guitar on her little magical, wonderful island. But I and I like all the kind of the NCOM shirt that Russell is wearing. I always like how like kind of like this song feels like both a perfect pop song and just a bizarre, weird amalgamation of things, because like I think when I first heard about this, it's like, well, no one's gonna be into this because it's got acoustic guitar with this vinyl sound, it's got De La Soul, it's like not really something that I think most people would be into, and it feels so universal at the same time, which I think I really like about it. This was their biggest hit. It only got to number 12 in the American Top 40. It's Damon Albarn's only Top 40 hit. In America, it got to number 1 in several different countries. It's being cynical. It's kind of being more of like the indie rock obtuse lyric thing. And with De La Soul, like, that's the other thing. This song feels like it should exist in 1996, and it's like 2006. It's like, it's very interesting because it felt very like modern, but it also felt like the past. And like, that was the interesting thing about Gorillaz, because it would have this kind of hip-hop beat thing, but it's still like Damon Albarn, who's like someone from the Britpop era and all that stuff, and alternative music, and like that amalgamation of them really started like being highlighted the further we got from like the alternative boom or whatever. I like the bass to it. I like how it changes. It just like doesn't move like a regular pop song. There's a lot of experimentation in it. It's very different, but I think that's kind of one of the things I like about Gorillaz, because as much as it feels like in the era of pre-made boy bands that they decide, oh well, we'll make a cartoon, like as much as like they're making like bands as products, like they're pretty much like formed as an idea to make profit, even though I guess the Gorillaz were also the idea of the Gorillaz going to that next step and then using it in such a strange way is artistically really interesting, because I think as much as a lot of the boy bands tried to experiment, none of that stuff was honestly that interesting or piqued the public's fascination. I felt like Gorillaz were just really good at doing that while also exciting you about music, because there's so many people like I heard fall in love with this album, and I fell in love with it as well. But I kind of understand it listening to it, because you hear so many different kinds of music in this one song. Like, this feels like sort of the future in a way when you listen to it, and it is definitely like really catchy. Like, after listening to it, I got it stuck in my head. I listened to it too many times. I was like, God, this is a really fucking good pop song. it is just, and it feels almost like a victory lap kind of hip hop song. It was like the Gorillaz are so, beyond, even the way De La Soul raps about it, how they sing about it, like we're not into this feel good thing. They're like criticizing it while making one of the catchiest songs of the decade and of the moment. It is kind of cynical, but it's not cynical in the last thing I reviewed. It's cynical in like this kind of beautiful, amazing, artistic way, and I just love that about it. I like this kind of the dystopian way about this video. Like they wake up in this weird like dark orgy thing, and it's really kind of a dark video. And I was like, if this was a movie, it'd be a really strange cult thing, but it kind of like works in that strange music video way. And I really like De La Soul showing up in this. This is a really wonderful music video, but it's kind of one of those things, like much like the song, there's so many elements to it that shouldn't work together and magically do in this pop way that you can't explain. Like, what is this windmill thing is a reference to this William Blake poem. Like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, none of this makes any fucking sense, but it works in just this way that, like, when I was trying to go through the lyrics, I was like, I don't know, does it really mean that? Who cares? Like, I just it's like I get that, to say like I just like that this song makes me feel good in a song that is specifically talking about how the music industry and all of this capitalism and stuff is trying to just make you feel good, not question things. And I inherently look at this thing and don't really question what it's saying or look into it, because I'm like just fine with how it feels. Is, maybe hypocritical or something, or maybe me missing the point, but I just love it for all of that. I've always really liked the song. I love listening to it. I like the whole impetus of it or whatever. I just think it all comes together, and then I'm just like, wow, okay, cool. The Gorillaz are back, and I'm cool with having an album like this every 6 years or something. And I think Feel Good Inc. just kind of made me see that there was like a deeper legacy here. It could be so much more than just the original promise that we saw from the first album, as well as just being like one of the all-time great pop songs that I think that band's ever made. So, did I say William Blake?